So what's Florida's favorite summer tradition?
Obviously getting naked.
Right. It's another week, another naked guy arrested in Florida. It's like our little song of summer.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And, Florida has tons of millionaires, right?
Oh, yeah.
Millionaire engineers with purple hearts and living like Indiana Jones. That sounds like the life, right?
Absolutely.
Well, even Indy can have a bad day sometimes.
Well, yeah, when he sees a snake.
Sure.
So why would you get a coronavirus test when you could just go to see a psychic instead?
Why not? Yeah, absolutely. Tarot card reading and find out if you get corona. Perfect. All that and more coming up on episode 7 of the Florida Freak Show.
Hurry, hurry, hurry! Ladies and gents, boys and girls, step right up for the Florida Freak Show!
Welcome back to the Florida Freak Show. I'm Cory O'Donnell.
And I'm Kirsten O'Donnell.
And if you've ever read a Florida story online or seen a Sunshine State newscast, you know that Florida's greatest export are weird stories about people that live and play here. And we have some of those, don't we, Kirsten?
Oh, we absolutely do. And we've got a good group of them again this week. And
awesome.
I so desperately, in these weird times that we're living in, I so desperately don't want to talk about coronavirus.
Yeah, I'm kind of over it too.
But it is impossible.
Yeah, it's still
not talk
doing
about
everything
it.
with our daily lives. Right.
And that's what brings us to our first story of the day. From CBS Miami, Bridget Rock and her husband wanted to get COVID-19 antibody tests to see if they were ever exposed to the virus.
Good idea.
Absolutely. So she makes an appointment at the Adventura drive-thru, which is operated by Banyan Medical Systems. She got an email confirming her appointment, but then she had to cancel.
Oh, boy.
What happened next is where things get a little weird.
Okay.
She received voicemails from 2 different women at Banyan saying that they had her test results.
What?
So she called back and was told both times that her test results are negative.
Well, that's a relief.
Right? So Bridget pressed a little further, and the person on the phone said, oh, maybe it was some kind of a data entry problem.
Oh, jeez.
So Bridget says, this is a very serious problem because people are walking away from taking these tests thinking that they have their results that probably aren't valid.
Yeah.
Of course, Banyan has apologized for the error and says it won't happen again.
That's incredible. I mean, it's really scary when you think about it, to not get tested and then get test results from 2 different people.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The only thing that could be worse is a pregnancy test that screws up all of that sort of stuff. Like either not taking one and getting results. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, people get tested for all sorts of things, which are quite honestly a little bit more serious than, not to say coronavirus isn't serious, but finding out whether or not you had it a few months ago. Can you imagine going to get your pregnancy test and then having people call and give you conflicting results?
Or call your mother or father and tell them that you're having a pregnancy test and it's like, you didn't even take one? That's awful. I mean, we're trying to come up with a great analogy for this, but I don't know if there is one. It's just it's not good. I don't even know how it happens.
I don't either. Well, apparently it was a clerical error.
Yeah,
so there you go.
It's like, oh no, we don't have any results from this person. We're just going to go ahead and say that she's negative. And
you didn't have it. Yeah. You didn't just to be safe. You never had it.
It's much better than saying that she's got it.
On the side of caution.
Absolutely.
So a little public service announcement. The story does cite a doctor, Dr. James Wantuck, who says you should probably check with a trusted physician to decide which test to get, and don't just go on Amazon and order a test.
What great advice. I mean, I know that sometimes goes without saying, but it's good to hear it from a trusted physician.
Can you get coronavirus antibody tests on Amazon?
Oh, I'm sure you can get everything on Amazon.
That's
true.
It
wouldn't surprise me at all.
Well, and I mean, I was at Dollar Tree today.
Yeah.
And, as I perused the store, as I am wont to do.
Right. There are so many great things at Dollar Tree.
Lots of, and always surprising. So
Dollar Tree is not a sponsor of this podcast.
No. So for many years, I have been intrigued / baffled by the fact that you can buy pregnancy tests at Dollar Tree.
I know. It's crazy. It seems crazy to me.
And far be it from me to cast aspersions on the $1 pregnancy test.
No, it actually could be a good thing to have if you're A/B testing.
But I do have concerns about the efficacy of the Dollar Tree pregnancy test. I don't know that they have COVID tests at Dollar Tree, but I did see this time while I was at the store, they now have self-test kits for marijuana testing of your own urine.
Oh.
Or of someone else's, I suppose.
Yeah, why not?
If you were stealthy and could figure out how to get it.
Yeah, I mean, that whole PSA that we grew up with in the 80s where it was like, I learned it by watching you. It's like, it could have been the dad finding out about his son's marijuana problem by getting one of those tests. Or the other way around, the son finding out about his dad's marijuana
I learned
issue.
it from you, Dad.
Right.
Yeah, the Dollar Tree test. So, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I think if I'm an employer, I'm probably not going to use the Dollar Tree
It's
test.
not going to be the lone test that I use.
There you go.
It
Good
could
point.
be something that I use as a way of hoping to confirm something, or as I said, for A/B testing.
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy, but I'm thinking it
Well,
scientifically
maybe
at least.
I think a pregnancy test is going to run you a lot more than $10 for, like a brand name one. So maybe
Sure.
you get 10 Dollar Tree pregnancy tests.
Ooh.
And like if 8 or 9 of them come out positive, then you're probably right.
Yeah, right. I mean,
I
the
mean,
law
I
of
did take
averages.
statistics in grad
Yeah.
school, but
Yeah.
math's not my
It
thing.
certainly can't hurt.
So back to coronavirus
Yes.
testing, though. These folks who are calling her, do you think maybe they're just psychic?
Ooh, they could be like Miss Cleo.
Oh, darling, Miss Cleo.
I don't know what accent that is, but I really like it.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible.
I thought Miss Cleo was from the Caribbean.
Miss Cleo was actually from Los Angeles.
Oh.
She was an actress
Oh.
playing a Jamaican
So Miss
psychic.
Cleo really wasn't a Miss Cleo?
She was not.
It was
Her
all
name
an
was like
act?
Tanya. It wasn't
Oh,
Tanya, but
okay.
it was yeah. It was all an act. Can you believe it?
Well, I just hope we're
Duped.
not bursting
We were-
anyone's bubble with this. They might have put a lot of faith in Miss Cleo.
I do remember, like maybe 20 states having lawsuits against the psychic whatever network
Wow.
and Miss Cleo, who, by the way,
I'm sure it
Florida
said for
ties-
entertainment purposes only.
It probably did. Florida ties, though. Miss Cleo spent her later years before she passed in West Palm, and I think she
Oh.
even did ads for a used car lot or
Oh.
something like that.
Oh, that's good. I mean, it's just nice that there's a Florida connection. Helps us to bite the tail on these things.
That's right. So Miss Cleo perhaps could go, were she still with us?
Yeah.
Or maybe some other enterprising actress / psychic out there, into the coronavirus game.
We hardly knew ye. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Miss Cleo, for all the entertainment that you provided to us.
R.I.P. So yeah, Miss Cleo, it's getting hot here in Florida. That's
yeah.
my smooth transition.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's sweltering out. Yeah, it's really, really muggy.
It's steamy. It
Yeah.
is steamy. And what, of course, happens in Florida when it gets hot?
Oh, we gonna wear less clothes, girl.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of Floridians wearing a lot less clothes.
Definitely.
And a lot more stories in the news that reflect that. So our next story from news965.com.
All right.
A Florida homeowner made a startling discovery Friday morning. He heard his dogs barking, so the Clearwater resident investigated and found a naked man in his kitchen.
As one would do.
As one does.
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprised that they have less clothes on. Maybe keep a couple things on, though.
Right. So the naked intruder left after grabbing a pair of knives,
As you
police
do.
said. Moments later, police, with the assistance of a canine, found the man in a nearby screened-in porch, or lanai, as we say in
Do
Florida.
you really need a canine for this?
Right. The man was hiding under a swing.
Oh, okay.
32-year-old Jesse Ramon Conover was arrested and charged with 2 counts of armed burglary, according to the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. The arrest report says Conover appeared to be under the influence of drugs.
Huh, you don't say.
By the way, he entered a not guilty plea.
It always surprises me when they're under the influence of drugs.
Yeah.
I just always feel like everyone's stone cold sober when this happens.
When they're sneaking into people's kitchens,
Allegedly, when it happens, right?
buck naked.
So he's naked and decides to grab a pair of knives when he's leaving the kitchen. Not like a tablecloth, not like maybe an apron.
Oh, a little kiss the cook.
Whatever it says on it, it must be something better than just, sashaying down the neighborhood looking for a hiding place in your birthday suit.
Carrying 2 knives.
Yeah, carrying 2 knives, which, I mean, it's already suspicious if you're carrying knives. If you're doing it while you're naked,
Well, if you're
it's
naked,
going to arise suspicion.
if you're naked, you have no pockets and therefore have no place to put your knives or any other kind of weaponry for that matter.
I once heard Jerry Seinfeld talk about a bit that he wanted to do where if you're naked, you don't have a place to put your hands, in your,
awkward.
So he talked about making like a belt that had pockets on it so that you would
like
have
a tool belt.
with little pockets hanging off of it, just like a tool belt. Yeah. So wouldn't it have been nice if this invention,
Wow.
I mean, I don't know why this would be nice. It's like the guy obviously made the decision to be naked. So he's probably not going to put on a belt. That's Jerry Seinfeld.
And this guy clearly never listened to his mother because, first of all, your mom would always tell you never leave the house without a clean pair of underwear on.
Yes, absolutely. That's always been the advice.
Right. This guy just had not a clean pair of
and
anything
even if you
on.
didn't have a pair of underwear, just turn them inside out. It's like you have a pair of underwear, right?
I mean, I suppose at desperate times.
Or maybe he had a clean pair of underwear the day before and was following his mother's advice and decided, well, I just got to get rid of these now. They ain't clean no more.
So then my next question is, obviously running with scissors is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Running with knives
They're just
whilst naked.
Ooh, I mean, I'm starting to get images in my head of like really bad cuts that are in really poor places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we all agree that the kitchen should be a no nudity zone?
I would like to do that right now. I say we decree it right now.
Can we get
Florida
some kind of a
Freakshow representation? We decree right now.
A freak nation.
Yes, that the kitchen be a nude-free zone.
Nude-free zone. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Every other place in the house, fine. Do what you got to do. Get your dandies however you need to. But the kitchen,
dandies.
That's where we really need to be careful.
Yeah, this poor man, the homeowner.
There's a lot of things happening in the kitchen where you got to really, be careful about how
cleanliness is. Cleanliness is good everywhere, but the kitchen in particular. This poor man is going to have to Lysol everything in his kitchen,
top to bottom.
And in this day and age, you can't find Lysol, so he's just gonna have to burn the house down.
Yeah, I think just best to start over. Start from scratch.
From scratch.
Yeah, raise it all down and just let's build anew.
So
we will rebuild.
So not the only naked man in the news this week.
Oh, well, it wouldn't be Florida.
Right. So a little bonus story for you from 850WFTL.com. A Florida man is accused of exposing himself to a woman who was on her porch trying to enjoy her morning coffee.
Just enjoying my coffee.
The Naples Police Department received a call from a woman who lived on the second floor of her condominium with a porch overlooking the pool. The victim told police that she saw a man with no pants or underwear standing by the pool. Everything below the waist was exposed.
Oh.
He then proceeded to walk over to a lounge chair, lifted his legs, and does what pantsless men do. The woman, of course, called 911, then took some photos, which police used to identify him as 39-year-old Joshua Etzezareta. I'm probably butchering that. Who was arrested and charged with just a potpourri of offenses.
Just a cornucopia.
Yes.
Of offenses.
Yes.
A motley of offenses.
Yes.
Coming, it's like my rosé is coming out in me. All right. So, well, I'm just going to play devil's advocate for the first time. I'm going to take the side of the accused.
Oh.
Maybe she was asking for it. I mean, let's be honest
Cory.
Let's be honest. If you're going to have a porch that's overlooking the pool, you're going to see some awful stuff.
I don't like this mentality coming out of you at all.
Well, it's all a bunch of jest.
Victim blaming.
You know that it's just me trying to be silly. I mean, you might as well put a sign up that says "Flash me here."
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Plenty of other places to enjoy your morning coffee.
Yeah. I mean, most of us have to enjoy our morning coffee in our nooks, or maybe if we're lucky enough to have a porch that overlooks the street. You have one overlooking the pool. That sounds lovely, but bad things can happen at a pool. You just never know.
Well, and Starbucks is only, carry out only right now, so she can't go there to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
Now, there's one important thing in this story that I have to point out and find out more information about. I'm being investigative right now.
Investigate away.
Yes. So it says in the story that everything below the waist was exposed.
Correct.
Was this subject Donald ducking at the pool?
I believe he was Winnie the Poohing.
Oh, Winnie the Pooh, Yogi Bearing at the pool.
Yes,
maybe.
Porky Pigging.
Porky Pigging at the pool. For those of you that don't watch, that are a bit more refined and don't watch Saturday morning cartoons all the time, we're talking about cartoon characters who only wear shirts and no pants.
That's right.
Right.
Some even wear just like a bandana, like Tony the Tiger.
Yeah.
Bandana, no pants.
Yeah.
Just a bit. What's the point of just wearing a bandana? Honestly,
I think it's a little bit of flair. We talked about flair at the last episode. This is a little bit of flair. It's a pop of color. When you're Tony the Tiger and you've got beautiful oranges and blacks and whites on your fur, how about like a nice red kerchief?
Okay, yeah,
just to give like a little pop.
So yeah, there's definitely a double standard going on right now. If you are a fairly genderless animal cartoon, perfectly acceptable.
If you've got like a lovable stutter, and you're
prance about pantless. Yeah. If you're a rando at a pool, that makes you a perv.
It might. I'm willing to go the whole cartoon route that probably gives you out the hook and these sort of things. But another thing about this is a lot of these cartoon characters very confident. And as we've talked about before,
I don't think the man in this story was lacking in confidence in any way, shape, or form.
It definitely. You might be true. So you might be right in that case, especially with his actions once he found out someone was. Hey, I have an audience.
Check this out.
Oh boy. Okay.
So here at the Florida Freak Show, we are nothing if we are not equal opportunity.
Absolutely.
So we had a couple of Florida men in this episode here. So let's talk about another Florida woman story.
Okay, good.
From clickorlando.com. Melbourne police say 32-year-old Audra Adams called 911 a total of 5 times in one night from the Monkey Bar and Grill in Indiatlantic.
Ooh, 5 times.
During the 4th time she called, officers were already at the business. During her 5th call, officers were actually speaking to her.
What is going on with this lady?
When asked why she called 911 so many times, Adams said that the bar was not following health guidelines intended to stop the spread of coronavirus. Florida, of course, was in phase 1 of reopening at this time.
So she was just, performing a citizen's act.
The owner of the bar has a slightly different story. He says that Adams was inside the bar trying to kiss random customers. After multiple people complained, he asked her to leave. She initially refused, but eventually left the bar and planted herself in the parking lot where she began calling 911 about what she claimed was a lack of social distancing precautions. She was arrested on trespassing charges, disorderly conduct, resisting an officer without violence, and misuse of 911.
Oh, so was her issue with social distancing about the distance from their mouths to her lips?
Yeah.
This is, I for one, really can't wait to hug and see friends and family once again.
Yeah, and I'm not a hugger, but I want to hug everybody now.
Right. But this kissing bandit idea, not the best way I would think to do it. Just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
You say kissing bandit, and you know what I think of, right?
Morticia, right?
Morgana.
Oh, it can't be Morgana. It has to be Morticia. I don't know why I thought of the Addams Family.
Morgana, for those of you who are probably a little bit younger than us, Morgana was known as the Kissing Bandit, and she was a buxom woman. Is that a word that still gets used? She was buxom.
Yeah.
A buxom woman
right.
who, starting in the late 60s and well into the 80s, ran out onto baseball fields to kiss her favorite players.
Right. And in the running
and also
process
NBA
would grab a lot of attention.
Yes.
In the run up
she
to
bounced.
doing so. Yes.
She bounced a bit. Yeah. In fact, I want to say that she blamed gravity on the fact that she fell onto the field, and then at that point had to. But yeah, so I think her first was Pete Rose.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure, like
The
in the
hit
late
king,
60s.
why not? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I remember her kissing Lance Parrish once when I was growing. I remember her kissing Kelly Tripucka.
Oh, basketball. Wow.
Yeah, she did some NBA.
Yeah,
I
so
think she
was
kissed
doing all
Kareem
kinds-
Abdul-Jabbar too.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
Did she have like a stepladder? I don't know how that's possible. Well, I mean, he was probably nice enough to lean down and
I'm sure.
yeah,
I'm sure. But yeah.
that's something.
I could be wrong on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but somebody that played for the Lakers that was really tall.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I apologize, Morgana, that I got your name wrong and mixed it up with Morticia. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just like, a name was popping into my head, and that's what it ended up being.
Morgana also, by the way, Florida ties. Always the Florida ties.
Always the Florida ties.
She winters in Florida.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly
Everybody
where.
comes down here.
Everybody winters in Florida.
Yeah.
You get to be a certain age.
It's a lovely place.
It is a lovely place.
Well, nothing says I'm mentally deranged, by the way, getting back to the story.
Yes.
Like placing multiple stalker calls to 911. Even when even when the authorities are there talking with you. Ma'am, I'm right here. You don't have to call 911.
Yeah.
And tie up the line anymore. You can just talk to me.
Talk to me.
Like, obviously, she wasn't getting the answers that she wanted from the folks on scene.
Some people are more comfortable on the phone. Some people are more comfortable texting. She clearly is more comfortable on the phone than in face-to-face interactions, unless, of course, that face-to-face interaction is kissing strangers at a bar.
Yeah, that's true. I'm also thinking that most people don't want to be on the phone with customer service, but she seemed to be okay with it if, in this case, customer service was like a 911. It's like, you're right there talking to the person's face-to-face.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? I kind of like her on the other end of the line. She has no idea what's actually going on. She only knows my side of the story, so I'm just going to keep talking to her.
Yeah. So moving on to our last story, and this one might be my favorite Florida story of all time.
That's a big thing to say.
It is. It is from Tampa Bay Times and reporter Christopher Spada. In October 2018, so we're going back a little ways,
okay.
but this all kind of has come to a head recently.
Back in time. Here we go.
In October 2018, Florida treasure hunting company Seafarer Exploration announced it had hired a Dr. Michael Torres to help them develop technology to find treasure in a sunken ship off of Florida's coast.
Well, this sounds promising.
Right, we've got our pirate history here in Florida.
Lots of pirate history.
Yes.
Lots of sunken treasure.
Yes.
Lots of chests at the bottom of the ocean.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
With all the doubloons spilling out of them, right? Yeah.
So Dr. Torres was a brilliant Wounded War veteran who was also a cryptocurrency millionaire.
Wow.
And held a PhD in aeronautical engineering from Duke.
Dr. Torres.
And was an adjunct professor at MIT. Wow. And had developed classified communications for military contractors.
Where does he find the time?
Right? Impressive resume.
Yeah, very impressive.
A few months later, Torres made the local news again, by the way, dressed kind of like Indiana Jones in the process, announcing he'd discovered an ancient Peruvian burial mask that had washed up on Melbourne Beach. But that's around the time his story was beginning to unravel.
Oh, no. That's when it took a turn.
Yeah. I feel like we're on VH1 all
behind
of a sudden.
The music.
Yeah.
And that's when things took a
Hit
turn.
rock bottom.
Yep.
Scientists hired by Seafarer privately told company officials that Torres's act was nothing but gibberish.
Oh, boy.
And not science at all. And then one of the company's research archaeologists said he thought the Peruvian mask might actually have been a modern souvenir made in Peru.
Okay.
So last week, Seafarer filed a lawsuit in Hillsborough County. Among other things, the suit says that Torres flunked out of college with a 1.3 GPA.
Oh, boy.
And that Duke doesn't even offer a degree in aeronautical engineering.
Oh, seems like something easy to find out.
Yeah, so they want Torres to pay back about $100,000 in wages and return 61 million shares of stock in Seafarer.
Wow.
Yeah. So for what it's worth, Torres says his boss is the one who actually padded the resume to make the company look good, and that he just, gone along with it. And by the way, he has recently been seen on TV in South Carolina touting a major discovery of Civil War artifacts that he just happened to find in Charlotte Harbor.
Well, that's just something else.
Excuse me, Charleston.
Charleston Harbor, right.
Yes.
So let me get this straight. This is a man who purports to be a millionaire.
Bitcoin millionaire, yes.
Bitcoin millionaire being, archaeologically digging, aerospace engineering, wheeling and dealing, war hero.
Indeed.
I mean, if it worked for Ric Flair, come on. I mean, it's just this is like a wrestling promo, like come to life.
Yeah.
Like this guy is anything and everything.
Well, Florida is the home of professional wrestling.
He should have talked about the Rolex that he designed himself, and that he happens to be, rocking right now. It's like, listen, dude, you can dress like Indiana Jones, but you ain't Harrison Ford. I mean, any of these things would have been impressive just by themselves.
Right.
But
absolutely.
This is always the downfall of the Florida freak, is that he just always wants to make it bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Right?
Just continually doubling down.
Well, and it seems he hasn't learned his lesson. He's still,
doing his thing.
Doing his thing, It's just the way he wants to live. It's a shame. But.
So this whole lying on the resume thing.
Oh,
whether he lied or his employer lied, because we have to take both sides of the story here.
This is true. We only really know the one side.
So I found a recent study online that says 46% of people say they know someone who lied on their resume.
Wow, they know someone.
Who lied on their resume.
Right. Wow,
yeah.
That's a staggering number.
Honestly, that is. It's basically half. But
yeah.
I think, I don't want to say that Florida's special, but we all know that Florida's pretty special.
It's very special. It's special in so many ways.
So this seems to happen a lot in Florida. I remember a couple years ago, there was a woman running for state senate or the state house who had said in her campaign and on her materials and her application and whatever else that she had a BS in marketing from Miami University in Ohio.
Right.
That degree is not even offered.
This is the part about these two stories. That is just, if you're going to lie, do your research.
Right.
At least make sure that the program exists. Yeah, sure, that means that that's one person that they can call and say, yeah, we don't have any record of that person, but they're going to want to do that probably anyway.
Right.
It's like most people are going to do their due diligence on this stuff. It makes it so easy when they're like, I can't even find a major for this person.
Yeah. Yeah. So, somebody called BS on her BS, basically. Do you remember George O'Leary?
Yeah, the football coach.
Yeah, he was coach at Georgia Tech for a while back when we lived in Georgia.
Yeah.
And got the most prestigious job in the entire United States.
I just remember he looked like an old grandfather. Like he had just very silvery white hair.
See, in my mind, he looked a little like Brian Dennehy. That's all I remember.
There you go. Yeah, that's kind of yeah, like a bigger guy with like silver hair. Yeah.
So anyway, George O'Leary gets what is, or at least was at the time, the most prestigious coaching job.
Oh, yeah, Notre Dame.
Country. Notre Dame. You're going to coach Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And then it turns out...
Like the opportunity of a lifetime
Absolutely.
For a coach.
Then it turns out that he'd lied on his resume, that he didn't have a master's degree, that he hadn't lettered in football at his college, that there was all sorts of different stuff. And do you know where George O'Leary ended up?
No. Where did he end up?
University of Central Florida.
Of course. I
think he coached there for close to a decade.
Yeah.
So Florida, we don't check references. Clearly, it should say that when you drive into the state. Welcome to Florida. We don't check references.
It's like, yeah. Best of luck when you're lying on your resume. There's probably a good chance you're going to get by. Oh wow, that's just crazy. I was going to say it does seem like that's the place where the coach with his tail between his legs goes for his next job. Like if something bad happens or whatever, it ends up being in Florida at one of the universities.
Yeah. So, in most of these Florida freak stories, you can look at this story and go, oh, that guy's the freak.
Mm-hmm.
naked guy at the pool, naked guy running with knives down the street.
Freak.
He's the freak.
Yep.
Woman kissing randos at a bar.
Yeah.
She's the freak.
Yep.
Who's the freak in this story? Is it the guy who lied on his resume, who said he was a rocket scientist, archaeologist, Bitcoin millionaire, whatever else? Or is it the guy that actually believed him?
Well,
Who's the freak?
I'm always going to give the benefit of the doubt to the victimed party. Like, if it's the first time that it's ever happened to him, it's like the whole fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. If I don't learn from my mistake from the last time that I got fooled, then this is a problem. This is a problem that I need to address. So, I mean, it's hard to say, just looking at, knowing what their past are, but I feel awful for the party that got in this case.
That got?
Yeah.
I thought for a second you were going to go Obi-Wan Kenobi on me.
Oh, I was thinking about it. Who is the fool? The fool or the fool who follows him?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's old school Obi-Wan.
That's Alec Guinness Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Florida.
So I guess those are our finds for the week. So
yeah, lots of good stuff.
What did we learn this week?
Well, we learned with the COVID test that if someone calls you with COVID results, make sure that you've actually taken the test.
Yeah, and ask her if her name's Cleo, I think, too.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like this is like a scam or something like that or whatever. Lots of nakedness in this particular episode. And you don't have to worry about a naked man stealing your apron necessarily, but hide the knives.
Yeah.
That seems to be the thing. It's like, hide any cutlery. Don't worry about the apron. That naked guy's not going to take that. He doesn't need that. Keep the cutlery away. Kissing and social distancing. Any ideas on that one?
Well, I mean, first of all, she did put the dis in social distancing.
She did, yeah. Kissing randoms at a bar may be the best way to protest social distancing, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely a good protest, and Florida loves a good protest.
And then, of course, our millionaire, war hero, aerospace engineer, archaeologist. Anything you learned from that one?
I learned a lot from that one, and that's, I guess, not to just believe every line of BS that a Florida freak tells me.
And not all archaeologists dress like Indiana Jones.
This one did, though.
Yeah. Well, this one did. That should be the dead giveaway. It's like, I feel like almost nobody does.
Oh, there you go. That's where he messed up.
It really is where he messed up.
So those were our easy for me to say.
Easy for you to say.
Our freakiest Florida finds for the week. And, I just have to wax poetic here for a second because this is our first full month of the podcast. We started in April.
Yeah.
But we have completed a full month and then a little extra. And May was an amazing, awesome month. We had so many great stories. We didn't even get to talk about a lot of them.
Right. There was that one story about the woman who beat her husband with a bouquet of Mother's Day flowers. Nothing says Mother's Day like beating the crap out of the person who got them for you.
Right. With flowers.
With the flowers themselves.
There was also the guy who dove into the fish tank
at
the
that
Bass
was a
Pro
big
Shop just
deal.
up the road from
Real
here.
big deal. Definitely. That was a huge deal. All right. And then there's the surfer who lost his prosthetic leg when he wiped out, and then the 13-year-old treasure hunter who found it.
Yeah.
It was really a nice feel-good.
Yeah, it was a good feel-good, warm and fuzzy kind of story. Or what about, I don't know if you remember this one, the guy who snuck into Disney and was trying to wait out his quarantine on one of Disney's little islands on the Disney property.
He found his Shangri-La.
That's right.
Right there in Disney. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, you're going to find a lot of of things that you can use or whatever. It's not like being on a private island out in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
So we post all of our Florida freaky stories, easy for me to say, on our Facebook and Twitter pages.
Yeah, so those stories that don't make it to the podcast, you'll still find them on our Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, and so remember to follow us at FLA Freak Show, and don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. It really helps us out and helps us find more freak fans like you to enjoy the show. Until next time, I'm Cory O'Donnell.
And I'm Kirsten O'Donnell. We will be back next week, and until then, let your Florida freak flag fly.